Everyone looks at him as weak, but suddenly everyone was shocked when they discovered that he is in reality the master of the strongest hunters guild in the cap. The story begins with a group of young boys. Their dream is to become treasure hunters. We know that these hunters go to explore the ruins that are called the vaults in order to find the treasures and artifacts buried inside. But this, of course, has great risks because they face monsters called phantoms. After that, we are introduced to a boy named Mokre going to an interview because the strongest guild is looking for new members, and he is standing in the queue. A girl named Rhoda introduces herself and says that she was always a hunter alone, but after she failed in a place named the Den of the White Wolf, she decided to look for a team to join. A guy named Greg heard her words and laughed and told her that she could never face that place and she is only level 3, and he said to her, "You are still an amateur and you won't be able to join this guild anyway." And that made her get annoyed. She said to him that there are no conditions anyway for joining and pulled out her knives ready to hit him, but a man intervened and said for them to stop because any disturbance will get them rejected from the interview. After that, Rhoda was shocked when she saw the number of hunters who are coming because it's the first time she sees a place like this. But Mokre, very calm, told her that he is coming here for the 5th time. And we learned that the guild has several teams, and Mokre told that the strongest team among them is named Arkri, and the 6 in it managed to control a vault, level 7. And he also said that if the leader Ark approves a new hunter, that means this person will definitely be successful. But this team hasn't recruited new members in a long time. Rhoda saw an empty tape and asked Mokre about it, but Greg, as usual, interrupted again and told her that it belongs to the first founder of the guild, the one named the First Steps. And he told her, this is the table of the Grievers. Mokre started to remember that the Grievers came to the capital a few years ago and rose quickly and became one of the most famous teams in the country. Their official name is the Morning Souls, and it was a team of childhood friends. A guy named Gilbert started shouting angrily and asked them, "Where are the Grievers?" and showed that he is level 4. But a girl named Tino entered and told him that he is not welcome and said that she should be the one in the Morning Souls. But a man stopped her and said that their orders are to maintain calm. And even so, all the people started gathering around the two to watch the fight. Mokre said to Rhoda, "Let's get out of here before we get involved." And they started heading towards the door. But before the fight began, Gilbert charged his sword, and suddenly Tina saw Mokre and ran to him, said to him, "Master." And here we discover the shocking truth that Mokre is the true leader of the Morning Souls, and he is also the master of the First Steps. We go back a bit with memories. When Mokre and his friends reached the capital for the first time, they were finishing beginner vaults in record time. And once, Mokre was about to be eaten by a monster, but his friends saved him, and all of them thanked him and encouraged him because he used himself as bait. But the truth is that he didn't. Even though there was a monster behind, all of them were insanely talented, but he felt that he was very ordinary. On the contrary, he saw himself as a burden on them and decided to leave the team. But when he told them that, he was shocked when they said to him, "Then be our leader." We return to the present time. Mokre yawned and told Ark that he overslept, so Ark thought he was joking, and Tino was upset with Ark said that he trusts Mokre's choices and will accept anyone he chooses. But this upset a girl from his team. Tino thought he would choose her, so she said to him, "I want to stay with." Gilbert started making noise again, so Mokre asked him if he is with another team, and Gilbert said it doesn't matter. Mokre said that Gilbert could become more skilled if Ark trains him, and he said also that he doesn't know how to evaluate people anyway, so his choices are always by luck, and he said the most important for a hunter is to never give up. After that, he said to Gilbert, "Show us your strength, because if you are weak, you will cause danger to everyone." And Mokre said that since he became a hunter, he never lost a battle, but the truth is that he never even fought. Took off his ring and said, "Whoever takes it, I will recommend him to Ark," and he threw it towards the hunters. But Tino immediately kicked it, sending it flying in the air. Everyone started fighting over the ring, and Mokre said that this ring is a relic, meaning a rare artifact, and that he will give it to anyone who can get it. The next day, his vice master Eva came to him and said to him, "Congratulations, Mokre. Your picture is on the front page of the newspaper because of the fight over the ring." He sat asking her if any civilians were harmed. She told him no, but she told him that they got a call from the Explorers Association. So he asked her, "What did Ark say about Article 12? She told him that he laughed while reading it. So Mokre said to her, "Put the repair bill on." So she told him that he relies on Ark too much. And also, the association requested that he visit them, and he knows that if he ignores the matter, the director himself will come to him. Mokre said to her that he can't go out without a personal guard, and also the tool that changes. His appearance is broke, but Eva told him, "No one will attack you in the morning." So he was forced to go to the association with. As soon as he entered, he went and knelt on his knees in front of Director Garg, and he was saying, "Forgive me." And the girl with him tried to calm him and gave him a book. Garg said to him that even though no one filed an official report about what he did, but since his guild is big and he must be a role model, he should accept one of the requests that no one wants to carry out. Mokre understood that Garg wants him to accept one of the missions that people refuse, so he decided to accept it to cover up the situation. And he said to him also that nothing serious happened from him, meaning. So Garg left him to choose the mission that he likes. So Mokre took the book and started searching until he found a rescue mission that looked easy, level 3. After Garg left, He was happy and thought that Mokray chose the most dangerous mission on purpose. Mokray went to look for Ark to give him the mission, but Tino told him that Ark was called away and all the other members are busy, and she showed him her ring and said that she is happy to keep it. Mokray said to her, "If you are free." So she was very happy because she thought he wanted to spend time with, but as soon as he told her about the mission, she ran immediately. Mokray summoned a creature from his chain and brought it to her. So she told him that she thought they were going out for a walk, not to work. And also, she is level 4, meaning she can't rescue 5 people by herself. Her nervousness increased when Mokray told Gilbert and the others to go with. After that, we go back 6 years ago when Mokray and his friends went to the association to register as a team for the first time. Mokray was afraid to enter and was telling them that he will hold them back and they should go without him. But his friend Lou kicked the door and entered, saying in a loud voice that he is the strongest fighter in the world. The secretary told Mokray to choose a name for the team and a logo, but no one had thought of anything, so she told him that the name must express the spirit of the team. Mokray decided to show them that he is not a good and chose the name the Morning Souls. Everyone was surprised because they are supposed to be a team of heroes, so how is the name like that? But when he told them that he is not suitable as a leader, all of them changed their minds and said that they love the name so that he doesn't leave. We return to the present. Greg is still shocked that Mokray is the leader of the guild and discovered that he is level 8 and is registered as a famous treasure hunter known as the 1,000 Tricks. Gilbert refused to believe that he is the strongest hunter in the capital because he doesn't look athletic nor does he train, and Tino said that she will not cooperate with Gilbert because he is all talk. Mokray, in his secret thoughts, said that he is also all talk. Mokray asked them if they will help him, but Gilbert refused to listen to him because he doesn't acknowledge him, so Mokray decided to leave him and go. But Gilbert called him and told him to fight, and if Mokray wins, he will join them. Mokray said to him, "Fight Tino first because she is the team leader." Gilbert agreed, and they said that this time he won't make a mistake, and after he defeats her, he will fight Mokray after that. Then Mokray said to him that Tino is also level 4, and Tino said that she is not like Mokray, but she also won't lose. She threw her weapon away so that she doesn't kill him by mistake, and this scared Rhoda, who was watching. And Greg said that Gilbert has a chance if he fights her hand to hand because she is still not a fighter. But Mokray knows that even if their levels are close, Tino has more experience. Gilbert threw his sword and said he doesn't need a weapon to fight a girl. Without a weapon, Tino said to him, "If you win, Mokray will eat ice cream with." So he agreed without thinking. The battle began. Tino attacked him with speed, and even though he dodged her, she hit him with her legs and he flew away. Gilbert got up again and tried to hit her, but she trapped him with her legs on the ground and hit him on the head and said to him, "Learn some manners and don't belittle Mokray again." Everyone was shocked by her strength, and Gilbert started to remember when he was young and was always the strongest. But when he came to the capital, he humiliated himself. Tino said to him, "If you want to continue, fight with your sword," but he refused. So she said to him, "Don't let your pride cause your death." And at that moment, he understood she was right. Mokray knew that he brought his old team's artifacts because the difference between them is big, and he remembered that his team also went through the same situation, but no one from them stayed a second time back then. At that moment, Mokray kicked Gilbert's sword and activated its power. Everyone was shocked because Gilbert himself doesn't know how to control it like that, but Mokray activated it without even holding. And here we learn that the material that forms the basis of the world is called mana, and it exists everywhere, but the naked eye doesn't see it. Places that have a lot of it turn into treasure vaults. The place where Mokray sent Tino and the others is named the Den of the White Wolves, and in the past there was a monster named the Silver Moon, but they went extinct, and that is what made the place become a vault containing a full-blooded wolf ghost. Mokray sees the place as very scary, but he is convinced that Tino and the others will know how to deal with it because they are at the same level. Eva asked him about the Purifier sword. He told her that it is easy to use to the extent that even Gilbert, who doesn't understand anything about it, managed to release a part of its power, but he himself used it at its full power without touching it. Mokray was sitting thinking if it's possible for Gilbert to sell him the sword, but Eva told him not to waste his money on it because he already has magical tools similar to it. But he said to her, every relic has its own way and advantages, so she told him to reduce his expenses a bit, even if money is drowning him from the profits of the Morning Souls Guild. Mokray remembered that they divide the money equally among all members, even those who didn't do anything in the mission. After that, he remembered that he forgot to charge his relic, so he went to a girl who specializes in charging it for him, and the man with her told him that a phantom of the 3rd level appeared on the northern road and wiped out an entire convoy that had with it 3 guards of the same level. He told him also that the phantom looks like a wolf and is coming from the Den of the White Wolves. This scared Mokray a lot, but he tried to reassure himself and said that Tino and the others will find. People started noticing that the phantoms have become stronger, and there is talk that they will change the hunters' classifications because a team disappeared led by a level 5 hunter named Rudolph. Mokray went back to reading the mission again and discovered that he forgot to read the part that says the people he is supposed to rescue are Rudolph and 5 other hunters, all level 5, and everyone around him was shocked when he told them that he sent Tino and the team. He went out saying to himself they will definitely be fine as long as Gilbert has the Purifier sword, but he started to worry because he doesn't know if Gilbert charged the sword after using it or not. At the same time, Tino was talking to the others and telling them that this mission is not easy because Mokray is the one who chose it, and because of that, she wrote her will before leaving. All of them thought that Mokray chose them for a specific reason, but he chose them completely random. Mokray was saying to himself that if the situation gets out of control, they can retreat, but he knows that Tino will never withdraw, even if she dies. So he decided to go after them quick before they reach the vault, and he was planning to let R complete the mission. When they return, he opened a secret room and started collecting the relics he has, and he stopped in front of a specific safe, looked at it for a while, and then as he was leaving, Eva saw him. She knew that he is worried about and was surprised that he took a forbidden relic named Slime Satyr, but he reassured her and said to her, I am not absent-minded to the extent of keeping something illegal, even though in his secret thoughts, he was saying that all his offensive tools are finished, so he was forced to take it as a last resort. He used another relic that lets him fly, and Eva was terrified for it because it is very difficult to control. At that time, Tino and the others were attacked by a phantom wearing armor and carrying a sword, so they were very shocked, but Tino was determined to prove that she is worthy of Mokray's trust. We go back in time when the Morning Souls team started their work in the capital, and Luke was shocked that his sword broke against a phantom, and they were talking about their battle with the Cyclops. A drunkard heard them and laughed at them and said there is no level 4 phantom that appears in a level 1 vault, but he was shocked when they showed him the Cyclops' eye itself. We return to the present. Tino and the team managed to defeat the wolf, but they were surprised by its strength even though the place is level 3. Greg asked Gilbert why he didn't use the sword's fire, so he said that the sword ran out of mana, and he understood that the reason is that Mokray used it before. Rhoda said that they have to withdraw, and Greg said the people they are going to rescue have definitely died. But Tino refused and said no, they are still alive, and everything is going as Mokray planned. And she said to Gilbert that Mokray intended to let the sword run out of mana to teach him not to rely on relics. After that, they saw a second group of wolves. Gilbert said, I will attack first, and if I can finish off the ones with weapons, the rest will be easy. Tino said to him, you are stupid. But he said to her, even without mana, the sword is stronger than a normal sword. But she replied and said to him, Mokray chose me as leader to ensure everyone comes out alive and distributed the roles. She and Rhoda will distract the wolves, and Gilbert and Greg will attack from behind them. She said also that she will never use anyone as a shield for her. But Mokray at the same moment was thinking and saying, I wish she would at least use the others as a shield even if she uses them. And indeed, they managed to defeat the first wolves, and Tino noticed that even though their opponents are stronger, they have the advantage of cooperation, and the wolves don't think as a team, so this was in their favor. She said to herself that even if their team was formed by chance, they work well together, and she thought that all of this is from Mokray's genius plan. But suddenly, a new attack appeared from more wolves, and Gilbert remembered when he traveled to the capital and that he wasn't appreciating their effort. Now he feels that he has finally found true companions. He and Greg cooperated, hit a big wolf, and he was very happy after. Tino felt a strong energy and said, this is the leader, and Greg said, let's withdraw. But she said, we have come this far without injuries, so we will manage. He replied and said to her, after level 4, one can live comfortably with easy missions, and I avoid battles I'm not sure of because I saw my colleagues dying. Tino said to him, but you came to join the first steps because you want to achieve something big, and this is the reason Mokray chose you. And she said that this mission is Mokray's way to help them develop themselves. Rhoda was asked, then why was I chosen? So Tino looked at her and said, maybe because of your body. They reached the leader and saw him without a helmet, so she said, this is his weak. She ordered everyone to stop him and attacked herself. But the monster hit Greg and broke his sword, and as it was about to hit him again, Rhoda pushed him away and saved him, and Tino jumped in the air, and even though the wolf hit her leg, she plunged the sword into its neck, killed. Tino used a potion to heal her leg, and Greg was shocked that his sword broke, and Gilbert said, thank God we are alive. Tino gave him a new sword, but suddenly 4 more wolves, and they were shocked that there is a pack of leaders inside the vault. They were cornered, and there was no way to escape because the wolf blocked the passage. So Greg and Gilbert said they will be bait so the girls can escape, but Tino refused and said, no one will sacrifice for me. She ordered to hit the wolf's eyes, and Gilbert attacked, and Greg hit the wolf's leg, but the monster blew them away. Rhoda threw her knives at its eye, and Tino remembered when Mokray taught her to use his ring's relic, so she used and blinded the wolf, and Gilbert seized the opportunity and hit it, but was thrown against the wall. Gilbert apologized to Tino because he attacked without hearing her orders, so she said to him, no, I am the one who made a mistake because my instructions weren't clear. The wolves were preparing to attack, and everyone thought their end was near, and suddenly Mokray descended from the sky and destroyed a wolf with one hit, throwing it against the wall. The wolf got up again and attacked, but was surprised that there is a shield protecting Mokray. Mokray used his ring and launched a huge fire attack, and Greg was amazed by the strength of a level 8 hunter, but when the dust cleared, the wolf was still standing unharmed. Mokray was terrified and said, these launch rings aren't that strong, and when he saw that the wolf had weapons, he started to get dizzy from fear, and all he could think about was to run away and live. At that time, Mokray decided to use Slime Satyr, which scares the wolf, but when he opened the container, he found it empty, so he made a smokescreen as camouflage, and told everyone everyone, let's run. And as they were running, Rhoda noticed that Makre was running slowly, so she thought that he is doing that to match their speed because Tino is injured, but he, in reality, can't run at all. Tino also thought that he is doing that on purpose to protect her, and she remembered the first time she saw him when she was about to be kidnapped, but the Morning Souls group saved her, and since then, she is infatuated very much. The group managed to escape from the wolves, and Rhoda said to Mokre that they were about to die if it weren't for Tina, but he apologized that they entered a dangerous mission like this. After that, he used a magical tool to heal Tino and told everyone to think about how to get out of the cave instead of focusing on fighting the monsters. But he, deep down, doesn't know where to go. We go back a bit in the past when Mokre was showing his friends all the tools he bought. Everyone was amazed, and Liz told him to choose one for her, but Luke said that is not fair and demanded to distribute to everyone. He took out a pouch from the bag. He told her that it is a magical bag that stores infinite things, but when she found out that it only stores chocolate, she said to him, "What a waste of money." Liz tried a bracelet and fell on the ground, so Mokre said, "This is the labyrinth ring that ruins the sense of balance." Luke tried a candy sword, but started to hallucinate, so Mokre said to him that it is enchanted. Everyone understood that these tools are junk, but they decided to use them in training. We return to the present. Mokre was surprised why he is the one walking in front, even though he doesn't know the way out, and he was thinking that Tino or Rhoda should lead. Gil asked, "Are we going towards the exit?" So Tino said to him, "This is a training plan from Mokre," but after a while, she said that the path they are on doesn't lead to the exit. She said that she saw the map before the mission, and the only way out is the one leading back to the leader's room. They continue. Rhoda asked him, joked, "Where are you taking us, sir?" And he, deep down, was saying, "I myself don't know." But suddenly, everyone was pushed to run forward, and Tino said that this is thanks to Mokre's confidence. And suddenly they found the Rudolph group who were hiding, and they thanked them for saving, and Tino said that the credit goes to Mokre. Gilbert noticed that they are very tired, so Mokre took out chocolate from the magical bag and distributed. Rudolph said that they faced a ghost that has a skull instead of a face, and that it is stronger than anything they have seen. He said it might be the curse of the silver moon, and that the hatred inside the cave made these ghosts strong. Mokre thought of Luke, who is known by the title The Thousand Swords, and said, "There is no ghost that reaches his strength, because if there was, Luke would have destroyed it long ago." Rhoda asked him what they should do now, so he said they should get out of the cave, but he passed the leadership to Tino and said it is part of her training, and he, in reality, is terrified. Tino said, "Okay, let's get out," and her fear lessened, but Mokre said to her to slow down because he is the one who can't keep up, and they are going towards the exit. Rudolph said that he will face the ghost if it appears again so the others can escape, but Tino refused to leave him and said, "As long as Mokre is with us, no one will die," while Mokre, deep down, was thinking that he will carry her and run first. Suddenly, the ghosts appeared, one in front of them and one behind, but the one behind kicked something into the wall, and it turned out to be Liz. Mokre said to her, "Take off the mask." When they saw her, they relaxed, but she got angry that they don't recognize her and said she went to the capital looking for him, and when she found Tino failing like this, she got annoyed. Gilbert tried to speak, but Liz slapped him with the back of her hand and kept bothering Tino, who started crying, and Mokre tried to calm her down and said to her, "You did well," but the ghost got up again and summoned a wolf that has a machine gun, and Liz said, "I don't get hit by junk like this," and started catching the bullets with her hands and saying to Tino, "Learn, you failure." And after that, she flew up and hit the wolf with one hit and blew it up. The ghost tried to attack, but she caught it with her hand and crushed its head and kept bothering Tina, who started crying more, and Mokre was sitting smiling and saying, "Yes, my friends are all monsters." They returned to the capital, and Gilbert said to Mokre that he will give him the sword and will try to start from scratch, and Greg said that he apologizes to the others, and Tino said to him that if he wants to be like Liz, he must know that the mask they are wearing is special. We go back to a year ago when Mokre requested masks for the team, but he forgot to make eye holes, and everyone thought that this is part of the training, and said if we learn to move without seeing, we will become stronger. In the present, Mokre is looking for the slime everywhere and can't find it, so he decided to ignore it temporarily, but deep down, he is worried, remembering when Satyr told him to be careful with it because it might destroy the city, so he started to suspect that the container was empty from the beginning and that she was joking, but he still has a bad feeling. The next day, he woke up tired and met Ava, and she told him that the association wants his report, so he said to her, "Ask Tina," but she said that Tino is training Liz. He, deep down, is worried about the slime and asked her if anything strange happened in the capital. She told him no, so he said to her, "Don't worry," and left. After that, Eva said that the strange thing is that everything that happens in the capital, Mokre predicts it before it happens. Mokre went to the training hall and saw Seven, the leader of the Black Cross team, outside, and he said to him, "Hurry, Liz is going to die." Mokre thought he was exaggerating, but when he entered, he found her, actually on top of Tino, and saying, "Is this all you have?" Mokre tried to stop, but Tino held Liz and said, "I can still continue," so he left them to continue. Seven said to him that the northern road was closed due to an attack by many ghosts, and Mokre started connecting the events and said it might be related to the cave they were in. He said to himself, if Ark were here, he would have finished the work instead of me, so he decided to avoid avoid the issue and said to Seven, "You go. You are our neighbor, and tell them I'm busy." After that, Seven left, and his friend Henrik asked him why Mokre never goes on missions. So he said to him, "You are new. This Mokre, he looks calm, but inside he is a hurricane." And at the same time, in the association, Garg was thinking about the reason for the strange phenomena that are happening and said, "Mokre must know something because that cave is the only one he visited a while ago. And in a secret lab, we saw a sorcerer named Noctis who couldn't believe that a hunter like Mokre started suspecting them and said they must deal with carefully. And then he called his assistant Sophia and told her to get rid of him. And it turned out that his magic tower, Ashok, is the real reason behind all the chaos, and that they are using energy from the ley lines inside the caves to create their own caves. We saw Mokre looking terrified at the city burning and a huge monster resembling the slime attacking, but he wakes up and discovers it was a night. He finds Liz sleeping next to him, so she asks him if he is free. So he says to her, okay, and decides to go out. At the same time, Garg goes to the First Steps Guild, but as soon as Liz sees him, she yells at and tells him to disappear so he doesn't ruin her outing with Mokre. The two start fighting, and Mokre tries to escape from the noise and talk to Garg's assistant. Kana asks him if he noticed anything strange, but he changes the subject because he doesn't want to talk about the slime. In the meantime, Garg decides to teach Liz a lesson because she annoys him, and we learn that he was a first-class hunter, level 7, and they used to call him the War Devil. But Mokre comes and says, enough fighting. Liz prepares to leave, and Eva is shocked from the destruction they caused. Mokre and Liz go out together, and Liz tells him that she was in Shattered Night, which is a vault level 80, and says the monsters there were tough. So Mokre asks her to compare them to the leader of the Den of the Wolves, but she doesn't even remember. After a while, Liz jumps on a man in the street and says that he was looking at, but Mokre calms her down and lets him go. The man runs away terrified and convinced that Mokre threatened him without speaking. Mokre then sends the Black Cross to the association instead of going himself, and this angers Garg, but he decides to give the mission to investigate the Den of the Wolves. Liz later goes out again with Mokre and asks him if he is looking something. So he says to her that people are disappearing from the area and that he suspects the slime satyr is related, and at the same time he says to her that he wants to try a new ice cream shop. So Liz gets excited, but the man that Liz hit last time is spying on them and thinks they intentionally left him so he could follow them, and he discovers that the ice cream shop is actually a secret base for the Ashok Tower. So he says they must close the shop before Mokre enters, but Sophia intervenes suddenly and asks him why he is terrified. Before he answers, Liz knocks on the door, and when no one answers, she tries to break it, but Mokre stops her and says maybe the ice cream is finished. They return to the office, and Liz is upset because she didn't eat ice cream, but Mokre's mind is on the slime. He asks her if Satyr returned, so she says no. So he says to her he needs her for a matter about a magical creature. Eva comes to him and tells him that she selected a team for the investigation, and Seven and his team are already there. Mokre is happy that he doesn't have to go himself. At the same time, the Ashok Tower group discovers that Mokre knows about their headquarters, so they decide to meet. Sophia shocks them when she tells them to fight even though Mokre is level 8. On the other side, Tina is walking in the city and is surprised by the number of hunters, and they explain to her that this is because of the investigation of the Den of the Wolves. Mokre comes with Eva and is shocked by the number and says, let's reduce the people a bit. But everyone is afraid because Ark is not with us. Liz enters on them and tells them that she can do the mission alone, but Mokre refuses because he knows she will cause problems. The hunters ask Mokre if he is the one leading the mission, so he says to them no, he is letting Seven do it, and he enters last. Before they leave, Mokre warns them about creatures resembling the slime, and everyone laughs because they see them as weak. But Seven takes his words seriously and remembers situations that happened before and prove that Mokre is always right. At that time, Satyr returns suddenly and says she felt that a disaster is coming. She tells him about her slime that evolved on its own and discovers that it escaped from the container through a crack in the bath, and she says if this continues, the entire investigation team in the Den of the Wolves will die. Seven gathers the hunters and asks if anyone has experience in fighting slimes. Everyone laughs. One says maybe he killed a slime without noticing. After that, a girl named Talia introduces herself as a chemist and was working with Satyr and shows them a potion that kills any slime. So all of them are reassured. But what is coming is worse. Seven starts making a plan of action and tells the hunters to divide themselves into groups, and each one secures inside the vault and uses flares if anything happens, and those not in the combat team stay outside to help with rescue if a disaster happens. After a while, reports arrive that they faced a small number of wolf knights, so Seven starts to be a bit skeptical about Mokre's predictions, but said, I hope the situation stays calm like this. Jean is complaining that they are wasting time, while Henry said that he might not know Mokre well, but trusts Seven's judgment. Jean enters the forest and thinks that if Ark were the one leading the mission, he would be confident, but as long as Mokre is sitting comfortably in the capital, he is not comfortable. Suddenly, he hears a voice and thinks it is a wolf, but is shocked when he finds sorcerers with a tied-up wolf knight, and with them a syringe that looks suspicious. The sorcerers are talking and saying that Sophia is the favorite of the master, even though she doesn't know how to use magic well. Jean attacks them and finishes off one, and the second throws fire at it, but he blocks it with a shield and hits him too, but his hand gets burned. The sorcerers accuse him that Mokray sent him, but he denies. So they inject the wolf with a magical substance, and it turns into a huge monster that looks like a slime. They explain that it is a demonic phantom that attacks places with a lot of mana, and indeed, it attacks Jean and screams in a very loud voice that makes all the hunters run towards him. They arrive and find Jean badly injured, and he says to them, Mokray was right. The monster appears, and Talia says she has never seen a slime of this size. Seven notices that it is a bit slow, so he organizes the hunters. He tells the archers to create a distraction and the others to attack its leg, but nothing affects it. Seven says to Henrik to help Jean, who confirms that the sorcerers injected the wolf to turn it into a slime like Mokray said. Seven discovers that physical attacks nor magic are effective, so one asks him, what do we do? Seven says to them, even if we can't defeat it, we won't leave the place. He takes the potion from Talia, and she tells him that it is supposed to make the slime explode if the liquid touches its body. Seven attracts the monster's attention, and the monster attacks him suddenly and jumps very high. Seven places the bottle on the ground underneath, and the slime lands on it, but the potion doesn't work. Seven says, this is not a slime like Mokray said, but another hunter corrects him and says to him, Mokray said a creature resembling a slime. Suddenly, Satyr appears and tells them that the monster has something magical, and that Mokray sent her because he feels the matter is dangerous. She explains that the slime has a strong field that repels arrows and magic, and says the monster dissolves its body to convert mana into energy and tries to absorb mana from her because she is the one with the most energy. She keeps dodging its attacks with speed and then throws a second bottle and tells Seven to help her, so he hits it with an arrow and the monster evaporates immediately. Satyr says that the bottle had anti-mana substance. After that, Garg appears wearing his armor, and Seven is surprised, and Satyr laughs and says that Garg reached her with his car because she doesn't run like Liz. In the Ashak Tower, Noctis is shocked that Satyr defeated the Phantom so easily and remembers Sophia's warning about. Satyr, after that, explains to the hunters that the tower is experimenting with ways to control the vaults and tells them that the monster they faced is likely a result of their experiments. Talia says there might be a device underground, and that is the cause of all this. And Satyr agrees with her and says there must other similar monsters, and also says that she had only one dose of the antidote used. She admits that she is not a strong fighter, but will do all she can and says if everyone cooperates, we can get through it. Then Henrik praises her in front of Seven, but Seven warns him about her and says that she is weak. The strong one is the weird one, and she is one of the mourning souls, meaning she might do anything to survive even if she betrays you. And in the tower, the sorcerers are saying to Flick that Sophia ordered them to release only one phantom, but they see that this will make it easier for the hunters to finish them off. Flick decides to disobey her and tells them to release them all at once to put pressure on the hunters. And on the surface, the hunters are interrogating the sorcerers they captured and learn that one injection is enough to create a monster. Satyr asks them if they are working with Noctis and promises them safety if they talk, but they refuse. So she takes out a tube and everyone is shocked. They say this is a brainwashing potion and that is a war crime. But she drinks it herself and laughs and says it is just colored water and she is immune to it. After that, the new phantoms and the sorcerers who are captured try to scare the hunters. Seven asks Satyr, what do we do? So she says that they have many barriers and they need to know the weakest barrier so they can break the next one. She tells the shield bearers to stand in front to determine the direction of the force, but one loses his shield, so she screams and says to them to focus more, but no attack is effective because the barrier moves and dodges the attacks. Garg says maybe we wait for the mana to run out, but Satyr refuses and says that will take an hour, and Seven finally understands why Mokray wanted Ark to lead the mission. Suddenly, a second phantom appears, and everyone feels surrounded, but Satyr smiles and says she has an idea and notices a big mistake in the Ashak Tower's method. She orders them to stop the attack. Everyone is shocked, and suddenly the phantoms start attacking each other. Satyr explains that the phantoms attack humans to absorb mana, and when there is no human attack, they go to the nearest source of mana, which is each other. The hunters stand amazed as they watch the monsters eating each other, and in the tower, Noctis is boiling with anger and says to Flick that they disobeyed Sophia's orders. Sophia defends herself and says that she might not be a combat expert, but always has a logical reason for her orders. Noctis tries to calm things down and says their strength is not only in the phantoms, and asks her what they do now. So she says that Satyr and Garg joined the hunters. So the situation has changed completely, and they must release the Eater of Rage, the strongest monster they have, to finish off the hunters. Flick gets nervous, so he says he is still training and needs control. So she says to him, you will take over the control yourself, and says to him, your chance to prove yourself. And at that time, Talia is sitting looking at Satyr with admiration and says she is a real genius, but at the same time feels jealous because she feels she will never reach her level. Seven notices her and asks her what's wrong. She says nothing, but he tries to ease her mind and says to her that Mokray should have warned them from the beginning that the monster is not just a slime. Garg says says, maybe we need to withdraw, but Satyr shocks them and says she found the enemy's headquarters and explains the exact location based on the concentration of mana and the signs she noticed. Satyr asks the sorceress if what she said is correct, so they wrote and said, no, it's wrong, but by doing so, they confirmed to her that she is correct. She said, okay, we must attack before Noctis escapes, but the sorcerer said that their master is not present and called for Sophia to stop the hunters. Seven was surprised and asked, who is this Sophia? So Satyr said to him, she is my archenemy. I hate her and swore that this time I will catch her and Noctis together because if their research continues, it will destroy the world. She admitted that she failed before to catch her because she was stupid, but this time she swore she will put her behind bars herself. And at that time, Mokray and the others were close to the guild's place. But Mokray was upset that he wanted to arrive after everything is over. Liz said, let's hurry, maybe Satyr will die without us. But Mokray was skeptical and said, no, the only one who might die is me because I didn't charge the magical tools and I don't have protection rings with me. Tino said, we are almost there, but the weather is dark and they can't see anything. So she tried to hold his hand and Liz immediately stopped her and said to her, stay away from my beloved. And in the forest, Jean regretted that he didn't trust Mokray and said if he had listened to him, he wouldn't have been humiliated like this. Satyr said to him that Mokray is a genius and might reach level 10 one, and Jean got excited and said he must be very strong. But Satyr laughed at him and said to him, strength is not everything. Even if Mokray is weaker than a sand rabbit, it still doesn't matter. And suddenly, a lightning strike came from the sky, and Flick appeared, riding a huge monster named Malice Eater, and said that he has now restored his honor after destroying. But Satyr was standing unharmed, and said that his magic is very simple because she is used to stronger energy with the morning souls. She used a water gun that had a healing potion and sprayed Seven, so he immediately returned. But Malice Eater attacked Flick and hit him, but the monster was very strong and was about to kill him. But suddenly Garg arrived at the last moment and killed it with one hit. Noctis got annoyed and said Flick is stupid and doesn't listen to advice. He should have taken more than one monster. The followers started to lose hope and said maybe Mokray was planning all of this from the beginning. They thought of releasing the rest of the monsters, but Noctis said they still have Sophia as their last card. At that time, Satyr and the others arrived at the base of the Ashak Tower. Seven said he will enter first, but Garg said, let me. I want to prove that I still have strength and haven't been washed up. Mokray and his team were watching from afar, the lightning us. Liz said that is average, and Tino was shocked and said to her, that was a catastrophe, and you're telling me it's average? The battle was intense. The hunters were facing the sorcerers, but Noctis revealed his final weapon, a huge golem named Akasha, and said it is the result of all their research. Garg blocked its first strike, but the others were humiliated by the monsters, and the criminals who were captured escaped amidst chaos. Jean said they must withdraw, but Seven was injured, and the situation was a mess. Suddenly, one of the monsters was destroyed in a second, and Liz appeared. Everyone got excited and said, reinforcements have arrived. At that time, Mokray was sitting with Tino and afraid to lose Liz as his guard. Tino felt something close, but Mokray said to her, ignore it, and the sorcerers were surprised why he wasn't paying attention to Liz started wiping out the monsters one after another and said to Satyr, how come you don't know how to deal with weak creatures like this? She started attacking the golem, but it was tough and withstood her attacks. Garg tried to hit it with an axe, but the golem jumped over. Seven noticed that it resembles a morning soul named Anam, and Liz got angry and said, why is it made to look like him anyway? She tried to attack it again, but the golem took out a weapon and hit her with a beam that chased her, and Satyr said, this is not good for her at all, so let's wait for it to run out of energy. But Liz said, no, I will destroy it myself. She directed a powerful kick that made the golem fall, and Garg froze its leg with ice, but the golem stood up again. Liz got annoyed and said, my time is up, and Seven was surprised, what do you mean? And suddenly, Mokray and Tino appeared. Liz said she wanted to finish before he arrived, and Satyr understood that the battle is over. The golem attacked Mokray, but he couldn't see it at all in the darkness, and before the golem attacked him, flew away suddenly, and all the people thought Mokray was the one who did that, but he himself doesn't know what happened. After that, the sorcerers escaped, but all their research was destroyed. Satyr thanked Mokray and said to him, bravo to you, and he asked her about her enemy. She said to him, I will deal with her myself next time. The sorcerers who were captured returned to Noctis and told him that Sophia infiltrated among the hunters. Noctis was confused and said, what is she doing? But he couldn't understand, so Mokray and Gray decided to experiment and said to them to call for Sophia to return. And in the association, Garg was shouting and saying Mokray knows something, and Mokray was swearing that he doesn't know anything. He said to them, ask Satyr because she was the one in charge. But the man in charge was afraid and said, she is dangerous too. He also said that 3 years ago, there was a mass escape from prison and all the evidence was against Satyr, but Garg defended her and said it's impossible for her to be the cause. Talia was in front of Noctis, and he said to her, stop the acting now. We are leaving from here. And she didn't understand anything. They started to suspect that she is using magic to make them not know her truth, but the monster sensed her and became violent. So they discovered that she is not Sophia. And at that time, the truth appeared, and she said, I am the original. And it turned out that she is Satan. Noctis was shocked and asked her how. So she told him that Sophia never existed. It was me from the beginning. Flick said to her, were you planning to betray betray us? She said, no, I was one of because I was impressed by Noctis's abilities and respected his determination and thanked him for all the equip. But now the game is over, and Mokray left them alive as a warning for her to stop what she is doing. Noctis said to her, you are the one who leaked our research to Mokray. But she said, no, Mokray sees everything and arranged all of this, and I was away. And she sent the senior hunters to test the results of my research as well. She admitted that she was the one who made the golem jump away so that not many would die. And she said to the sorcerers, all of will be arrested, but don't be afraid. I will continue the research myself. Flick ordered the monster to attack her, but it didn't do anything. So Noctis set her on fire, but she came out unharmed and said that her monster absorbed the fire. She said, with enthusiasm, let's try the Noctis spell on. And he indeed tried, but was suddenly stopped by the hand of a strange, huge creature. And when it burned him, a terrifying, muscular monster, Noctis went crazy and said, what is this? And Satyr said that she is the weakest one in the Morning Souls, so she was forced to become stronger quickly. And because the golem takes time and effort, she decided to make a chimera. She admitted that she was behind the incident of the prison escape and said she was collecting body parts for her experiments. She ordered the monster to finish him off, and indeed, after that, Mokray asked her about Talia. She said to him she has a bit of memory loss, but is fine. She said, it's a shame what happened. But Mokray didn't understand anything as usual, so he said to her, yeah, true. And in the meeting after the incident, Satyr asked to take the golem and the monsters. The person in charge asked why, and Mokray remembered that Malice Eater is the name of a drink and said he wants to try it. Everyone was shocked and said to him, he thinks the monster is a drink. After the meeting, Satyr thanked Mokray for his help, and we learned that they managed to obtain a relic named the Eater of Rage. Satyr went to get it, and when Mokray was going to the lobby, Garg stopped him and said he needs to talk to him. Garg said to him that a group named the Fallen Mist has arrived in the capital from the Land of Fog, and they are led by a man named Arnold Hyle. Garg was surprised that Mokray doesn't know him, so he started telling that this Arnold is a level 7 hunter and killed a thunder dragon. But Mokray said to him that he also killed dragons. So Garg laughed and said to him, don't cause trouble, and he patted Mokray on the back and accidentally broke one of his safes. Mokray saw a post about increased rare treasures and wanted to go, but he has no money, so he thought to borrow from Satyr, but remembered that he still hasn't returned what he took from her last time. A girl named Chloe, Garg's niece, asked him why Garg is happy, so she was surprised when he said they were talking about Arnold. After Mokray and Satyr left, Arnold entered the association, and Chloe welcomed, thinking he is a new member, but the people with him were very tense from the way they were talking. At the same time, Satyr showed Mokray and Eva the Eater of Rage that she brought. Eva said it looks dangerous, but Satyr said that she trained it and it won't harm her nor Mokray. The relic jumped on Mokray and played with, but broke his safes again. So at that time, Mokray understood that it is very dangerous. He decided that he must charge the rings again, so he asked Satyr about his sister Lucia. She said to him she is back late because a duelist ghost appeared in the leader's room of the Shattered Knight Palace, and Lucia and the team must help Luke to defeat it. Satyr gave him a ring that stores one spell and said that it is of a very rare type, and we also learned that he has a ring from Lucia as well. And on the other side, the members of the Fallen Mist got angry because Chloe didn't recognize Arnold, and they said they won't allow anyone to look down on them and will show everyone their strength. After that, Satyr was giving Mokray a massage, and he said he needs to charge all the rings, but there is no one except Lucia who has enough energy. She said to him, leave it to me. She gathered a group of hunters and told them that they will do special training to strengthen mana, and said that this is Mokray's new method, and everyone was shocked. She asked them who wants to try, so two from the Starlight faction named Chris and Lapis agreed. Chris got angry that Mokray did greet Lapis, but Lapis stopped her and said even if Mokray is just a person, he is still the guild leader. We learned that the Starlight faction is composed of a race named the Noble Spirits, who have a long life and very powerful magic, and they see themselves as above the others. Lapis said that she is not convinced that there is training that can make them like Lucia, but Satyr said that Lucia became strong because of this specific training. Another girl named Marriott said that she also wants to participate. Satyr gave her one of Mokray's rings and told her to charge it. Marriott started charging it and was shocked by how much mana it consumes. She barely finished it, but was surprised when Satyr gave her a second ring and told them that magical power is measured by the total mana one can produce, which usually stops growing in adolescence. Suddenly, Marriott fell unconscious, and Satyr said this is mana exhaustion, but the recovery time increases the maximum energy capacity. Seven said that what is happening is madness, and Chris said that even the Noble Spirits take a long time to recover their energy, so this training is not practical. But Satyr took out a special juice and gave it to Marriott, so she suddenly woke up, and Satyr said happily that her mana actually increased, and said that if they repeat the process, they will become stronger and stronger. Lapis said, it's impossible you did that, and Satyr replied, and said that Lucia's strength is not a talent, it is years of effort and hard work, and she said she knows that the Starlight faction wants to recruit her, but Lucia refused because of their pride. Chris got annoyed, told Satyr to give her all the rings, and that she will charge them all by herself, and the others started joining. At the same time, Ark got an offer from a man named Sandarine, but he said that he still has a lot to learn from Mokray. Sandarine asked him if he accepted Lord Gladys, and told him that his daughter Claire is looking for him, and indeed she appeared behind him suddenly. They all went to the bar, and Liz and Satyr entered a drinking challenge. But Satyr put the magical potion in Liz's glass to make her remember fast. Liz was suspicious and fought with, so Satyr put a second dose in her glass and said, let's continue the challenge, but was shocked when she drank the glass. That had the potion, so she got drunk too. While drunk, she started saying to him, you are exploiting me for my money, and said to him that he is in debt to her for more than $1 billion to the guild, and said to him, I will sell your body if you don't have money, and approached him. But Liz entered and stopped her. Suddenly, the Fallen Mist group entered the bar and started making noise, and Arnold said he wants women and alcohol. Liz went to him and poured the drink on his head, and when he got angry, she hit him with the mug on his face and crushed them all by herself. After that, in the office, Eva said that even if the group was wrong, it is a problem that Liz hit them, and said that Arnold is a thunder dragon slayer, so they must resolve matters calm. But Mokre turned all cold. The thunder dragon meat is very tasty, and said that Satyr made it for him before. Eva was shocked and said that dragon body parts are very expensive and no one eats. Fallen Mist went to the association, and Chloe thought they came to complain, but Arnold said he just wants to know who hit them. Garg said to him it was Liz, and said that he had told Mokre to keep her away from trouble, but it seems he forgot. Everyone was shocked when he said that Mokre is level 8, and said to them, don't worry, Mokre is not the type to bully. As long as you are not causing trouble, you will be fine. But this talk only increased Arnold's anger more, and in the office, Eva was shocked when she found out Mokre is in debt to Satyr for billions, and he said to her that Satyr gave him 3 proposals to repay the debt. First, that he imprisons her so the debt is cancelled, but he said to her that is not a way because she wasn't wrong. The second and third are that they get married, so he laughed and said to her, it seems I will marry her against my will then. Eva said to him, he can repay from his share from the hunters, or if he wants quickly, he can go explore a vault alone. But he is terrified, so she said to him, don't increase your debt more than this, Mokre. The Fallen Mist group started roaming the city to get information about Mokre, but all they heard were rumors, and when they reported to Arnold that Mokre doesn't even go to the vaults, he thought the reason is that he can't find anyone of his strength. They told him also that no one has seen him kill before, so Arnold started thinking that Mokre is the type who relies on plans, not combat, and that he reached the 8th level thanks to his friends, not his strength. Arnold said with confidence that he reached the 7th level alone, so it's impossible for Mokre to be a match for him. At that time, Tino went to meet Mokre and asked him if he needs any. She said to him that she will do anything for him, but was shocked when he asked her for money. She said to him that she also needs money for supplies and equipment maintenance, so she can't give him more. But when she found out how much he is in debt, she went into shock. He said to her that the one he borrowed from is Satyr, so she was furious when he told her that if he can't repay, he will marry her. They went to eat sweets, and Tino suggested that they enter a vault and find precious artifacts, especially since there is a big auction in the city and everything will be sold at a high price. She said to him he might find a vault with treasures, but he said to her if he knew how to do that, he wouldn't have borrowed from Satyr in the first place. And as they were walking, they met the Fallen Mist who prepared to attack. Mokre said to them that he understands their anger because Liz attacked them suddenly and apologized for what happened, and said to them that he might even treat them to a meal. Tino quickly stopped him and said to him, we have an appointment, stop talking, and said to them that he didn't even bring his weapon, so it's better to fight him at another time when he is ready, because they won't enjoy a victory over someone who is not serious. But Tino said to them that Mokre is just afraid to overdo hitting them, and continued to provoke them, and Mokre tried to calm her down, and when he saw it was useless, he started gathering people around them to cause a disturbance. But the truth is that he was looking for guild members to help Arnold, said that indeed Mokre is mysterious like the rumors, and said that his high level is all thanks to his friends. This talk made Tino get annoyed. Arnold looked into her eyes and said that she might become strong in the future, but the rest of the group said to her that she is not a match. Tino asked for permission from Mokre to fight him, and everyone was shocked when he didn't stop. Tino started the attack, but Arnold blocked all her strikes easily. Mokre kept looking around hoping to see someone from the guild, so one of the Fallen Mist said to him, focus, the girl is fighting for it. So Mokre started encouraging her loudly, and this angered Arnold more. Tino kicked him a strong hit, but it didn't affect him, so he grabbed her head and slammed her to the ground. He got angry and said, how can you send a weak girl like this to fight me? At that moment, Mokre said, okay, no other solution, and decided to use the necklace that has Lucia's magic. He activated the powerful gravity magic and wiped the ground with the Fallen Mist olive, but unfortunately, Tino was also caught. Mokre said to Arnold, if you want to fight me again, you must try to defeat the 3 main teams in my guild. After the battle, Tino apologized and said that she disappointed, but he said to her that the fault is on him because he misread the situation. She said to him that she wants to fix her mistake and asked him to tell her where the vaults rich with treasures are, and promised him that she will repay his debt herself. On the other side, Liz was training with a golem made by Satyr, but got bored and said, this is an imitation, bring me the original. And Satyr said that the original is with the investigation. She told that Tino defeated Arnold and said that Mokre helped her in the end, and asked her if if they should act against the fallen mist, but Liz said, "We wait for Mokre's orders, otherwise we don't move." Mokre went to meet Chloe and asked her, not understanding why Arnold is upset. She said to him, "Because even though he is level 7, you forget his existence." He asked her what her first impression of him was, so she said to him, "He seems to like older women because he didn't pay attention to Liz." We also learned that Chloe once tried to join the First Steps Guild, but failed easily in front of Luke, and after that, she stopped being a hunter and became a receptionist at the association. She asked Mokre why, and he said to her, "You had talent back then." And then, after he met her, he said to her that she must know the reason herself, and that she is now in the right place for her. After he left, he remembered the truth, that she was young at that time, and it wouldn't be suitable to take her in the team, and said if he took her now, Garg would break. Chloe thought that Mokre's action was intentional, as a mental test for her, and said that she will keep thinking about the real reason and continue her work with dedication. Arnold was shocked when Chloe told him that Mokre thinks he likes older women, and one of his team members said to him, "Calm down, he is definitely provoking." But Arnold went crazy after that. He said, "I don't understand why he is making us fight his guild's 3 teams. And one of his men returned and said to him that the teams refused to fight anyway, so his anger increased more. They said to him, "Let's act wisely. There is a nearby auction. We can buy new equipment from him and sell the strange piece that they refused in the Land of Fog." At the same time, Mokre and Tino went to a man named Mattz to appraise an artifact piece she found. Mattz said that it is a piece from outside the land and likely from an organization of very powerful magical tools. In Mokre's eyes, the dead man was excited to know its effect, but Matthew said he must activate it to know and request to keep it for a while because he has many appraisals before the auction. Mokre requested to see the rest of the pieces, and Matthew agreed to let him see them while he was talking to Tina. Matthew said to Tino, "Be careful of yourself. You remind me of my granddaughter, and if anything happens to you, rely on your friends." And he said to her also that even Mokre can be useful sometimes. Tino said to him, "Even though he is strict, he is a wonderful person, and I am nothing next to him." Matthew got angry and said, "What are you teaching her, Mokre?" But Mokre was busy contemplating the artifacts. He saw a piece named the inverse face that changes the features of the one who wears it, and said that he needs it so he can go out of the house comfortably, especially since he had one like it and Liz broke. Matt said to him, "Get out of here, I have work." But Mokre said to him, "Talk to the owner of the piece so I can deal with him direct." After that, Tino asked him where he will get the money from, so he said to her that the piece is rare and forbidden to be sold in shops because it might be used in crimes, and he doesn't want to miss the opportunity. Tino said to him that Satyr is almost bankrupt because she spends all her money on research and distributes her expensive potions to the sorcerers for free. She said to him, if the piece they appraised turns out to be expensive, all his problems will be solved. But Mokre thought of keeping if it turns out to be rare, and as they were walking, they saw a carriage with the emblem of the Earl Gladys family, and Tino was surprised because that family hates hunters. They saw Claire, the Lord's daughter, meeting Ark and said to him that she just wanted to see the place where he spends his time, and said that she hates hunters but loves him because he has dignity. She saw Mokre looking at her and said to him to stop looking at me like that, and Tino got angry, but Mokre held her quick. Ark introduced them to each other, and Claire said that she heard about him from her father but sees him as very weak, so she doesn't believe he is higher than Ark, and said maybe he bought his level with money, and was surprised why he didn't respond to her. So he said to her calmly, "I am trying to act politely because I wasn't raised with aristocratic manners." After she left, Mokre asked Ark if he has money, but Ark refused to lend him and said, "You definitely have a new piece." Mokre said to him he must buy it, so Ark asked him about its effect. So he said to him, "I can't tell you." So Ark replied, "Then I won't help." Mokre started asking all people for money, and a rumor spread in the city that he is trying to buy a powerful piece at the auction, and when he didn't find a solution, he went back to Satyr and said to her, "Sorry, I am asking for money again, after I promised you to repay the debt." Satyr laughed and said, "We are always like this," and said that she sold some extra materials and managed to save money, and if it's short, she will borrow from the bank. She said to him, "As long as this piece is important to you, I will sacrifice my research temporarily." So Mokre said, "I hope the owner of the piece doesn't ask for a large amount." But he was shocked when he found out that the piece belongs to the Fallen Mist. Arnold and his group were displaying the rare piece they brought from the Land of Fog and saying that they won't sell it cheap, but Satyr looked at it and said it looks terrifying and suspicious. So one from his group said, "Okay, let's put it in the auction." But Satyr said to him that no one from the nobles will buy a piece that looks like that because its appearance is not dazzling nor chic, meaning it won't sell for a high price. Arnold said that they don't even know its effect anyway, so they can't set its price. But he started to suspect that Mokre must know its true power, which is why he wants to buy it. So they asked about it, but Mokre refused to say anything and said that it is dangerous and forbidden by law. Arnold started to suspect more and said maybe Mokre is trying to scam them, deceive them, so they keep it and get into trouble. So he decided to sell it 10 million guild to get rid of it, thinking he won the deal that way. But Mokre asked Satyr if that price is very low, so Satyr said to him, "They said it themselves, so let's go with." But suddenly the entire hall ignited. All the hunters started bidding on the piece, and the prices became a war that was heating up, and and suddenly Claire offered 100 million gil. After that, Eva said to Mokray that everyone now thinks that this piece is the strongest artifact in the world because he was borrowing to buy it. But Mokray said to her, it's just a mask that hides features, nothing more. Eva got annoyed and said to him to stop increasing his debts. But Satyr entered and had with her 800 million and said that she was saving them for their wedding, and Eva started screaming at her that she is encouraging him to do nonsense, and the two started fighting. After that, Mokray and Satyr went to meet Claire to talk about the mask, and Claire said to him that she is impressed by his courage and that he is confident like that, and said to him that his nerves are strong like Ark's. But he, very calmly, said to her that the only thing that surpasses Ark is his level, and that there are rumors that they are rivals, but he considers Ark his friend. So Claire thought that he was mocking Ark and grabbed her sword and said to him that his strength is fake and that she will take the mask and give it to Ark so he becomes the strongest. Mokray said to her calmly that Ark won't be happy with that because strength doesn't come from artifacts nor the mask. So Claire started to cry and said that she must win him no matter what. Satyr said to her coldly that she doesn't have enough money and said that she knows her budget is 100 million and their budget is 200 million, so if she can get more than them, they will concede defeat. Claire went to her father the Lord and said to him, but he refused to back down and said family's reputation is at stake. The advisor said to him that they can take 500 million from savings and 500 million as a loan with high interest. Satyr said to Mokray that their budget is 950 million, but she is not confident they will win, and Mokray said to her that she did what she could. Rizz said to him, if we lose, I will go steal the artifact, but Satyr said to her no, because Mokray will be the first suspect. They reached the auction, and all the people were waiting for the legendary artifact that Mokray wants to buy. Mokray said to Tino, his seat is hot as the pieces were being sold one after the other, and Mokray was suffering because he wants to bid on everything but was trying to restrain himself to save the money for the mask until a huge golem, and Satyr wanted it bad but said to Mokray not to worry, the mask is more important, but he saw she was sad, so he said he must get it for her. The auction reached 300 million, then 500 million, and he was bidding casually as if he was buying bread, and in the end he threw the whole number, 950 million, but was outbid by 1.6 billion, and we were surprised that Mokray actually won it thanks to a secret card, a check from his sister. Lucia appeared, and he sat thinking if it was right to burn all her savings. After that, he talked with Tino, and everyone asked about the mask, but he said, okay, he achieved his goal and is not interested. Claire at that time won the mask, but she felt terror when she saw it. The mask started talking and said to her, you are suitable for my power, and wore her against her will and controlled. Ark came to her with her father, and when they entered, the guard saw her face covered by the mask. He tried to calm her down, but when she saw his sword, she attacked him, and he ordered his team to act carefully, but she lost control and started hitting. At the same time, Arnold's group was happy that they sold the mask for 200 million, but found Rizz and Satyr waiting. Satyr said to them that this profit was all part of Mokray's plan and that they must pay a percentage of the profit. One of them laughed and said, impossible, but Satyr said to them, don't you feel the sherbet tastes strange? And suddenly, all of them started to feel sick, so she said to him, the solution is with me, but for 110 million, so they were forced to pay it. After that, in the office, Mokray held a party thanking Ark, who returned the mask to him and was very happy, but when he wore it, the mask held his face and said that his abilities are weak and he is not qualified, and took it off him and said it is not suitable. So Mokray thought this is not the inverse face he wanted, but he said it is still rare and special, and Claire gave it to him as a Satyr, and Rizz returned with the money, and all of them celebrated and were happy, but Mokray sat sad thinking how the mask chose Claire and not him, and felt that he is weaker than her. And then came a flashback from 5 years ago. Tino was 11 years old, going to buy bread, and they warned her from criminals, and indeed two tried to kidnap her, but Mokray and his friends appeared suddenly and saved her, and from that day she sees him as her hero even though he was lost and not paying attention at that time, and from that day she appreciates him as if he is a magician. And after Tino left, Mokray said to the others that they must report to the association about those men because he is sure they are hunters. Satyr was surprised and asked him how he knew, and they were wearing masks and their faces weren't visible, so he claimed that he used his mind's eye, but in truth he was just throwing a random guess like that, and that's all. Then he met a man named Garg who said to him that he heard rumors about the Morning Souls team, but Mokray wasn't comfortable with him because his face was terrifying. He asked them about the man who bothered her, so Mokray said they just stole her brooch from, but Garg said that is a dangerous thing too and started asking them questions. So Mokray said they only heard their voices because the masks they are wearing don't have eye holes, and he remembered that Tino might help the association in identifying. Garg said catching them is not easy because there are thousands of hunters in the capital, but thanked Mokray and promised that he will work with the knights to catch the criminals. After the Morning Souls left, Garg said that they are still beginners and he is not confident. Their words are reliable because they didn't even see the people's faces, but he said that he likes that there is a team with a sense of justice. And at that time, the criminals were sitting annoyed because they failed to catch Tino and were afraid their organization would get rid of them if they didn't achieve the goal. They decided to finish off the Morning Souls team and take them to the organization to get rid of. The next day, they went to the team and said to Mokray that they have an offer for him, and said to him that the leader of the organization wants to meet personally and calls him an influential person in the capital. Mokray didn't understand anything and didn't know them anyway, but decided to go with them to see what this matter is. The criminals asked about the prey that was with them, so he thought they were talking about a monster he just killed, and said to them that he killed it because it was corrupt, and the criminals were shocked by his cruelty and called him crazy. And when they reached the hideout, the man welcomed them and said that he will inform the leader that they have arrived. Mokray started looking around nervously and didn't know where he was, nor who he was dealing with. Lucia said to him that the men who brought them here are the same ones who bothered Tino, so he was very surprised, but tried to remain calm and act as if he knew everything. His friends knew that the criminals would turn on them soon. The leader entered and said to them that he wants them to work in the organization and promised them big rewards if they achieve the goals. Mokray said to him that he needs to think about the matter first, so the leader agreed, but told them to see the merchandise before they leave. Suddenly, he opened a curtain behind them, and there were kidnapped children, and he said that they sell them to make money. Mokray was shocked and understood that they are very evil. The leader asked him again if he wants to join them, so he refused. One of his men hit Luke with a bullet, but Luke stood up with his sword in his hand and cut the leader's arm. The man went crazy and said, "How is he still alive? He was shot in the head." So Luke said that his mask stopped the bullet, and they said to him that they spent all their money on these masks, so they are very sturdy. The leader screamed and told his men to open fire, but Luke blocked the bullets, and his friends started finishing them off one after the other. Prisoners were scared when the bullets hit their cage, so he raised his shield and protected them, and Mokray covered them with the curtain until the others finished off all the criminals. The leader was hit by the bomb that Satyr threw, and Mokray found the brooch that Tino lost on the ground. The next day, Mokray sat, reading the newspaper, and saw the news that said the evil organization was destroyed, and all the missing people returned to their homes, and he couldn't believe that. His team was the one who did that, but he knows that the public won't know that because Garg covered up the story. Satyr said to him that the association summoned them, and he was reassured that they didn't do anything wrong. When they arrived, they found Tino there, and she said that they summoned her too to give her testimony. Mokray gave her the brooch. He returned. When she saw it, she was very happy, and in the present, Tino is saying about Mokray that for her, he is like the leader because he saved her on her worst day, and says that she is the happiest person in the world because she met him, and that she works hard to become part of his team. She took Mokray to a huge pit and said to him, "Do you think we will find artifacts or treasures here?" So he said to her, "No, most likely," and Satyr agreed with him because there is no disturbance in the mana energy. But Tino was determined and jumped into the pit without thinking. Satyr said to him that this pit was made by the golem that Mokray bought at the auction, and this place is supposed to be an old base under the ruins, and the entrance is hidden in the form of a sand rabbit burrow. Then a strange man came out of the ground and said that he is a researcher on rabbits named Algo, and was very happy, and saying that he discovered that the sand rabbits have a civilization underground, and that this place is their capital. But Satyr said to him that this is impossible because these rabbits don't even live underground originally, and as they were coming out, they saw Tino coming running, and behind her, giant rabbit chasing. The researcher Algo said that is the king of the rabbits and ran after him to study. But Mokray was in his office complaining about the many letters he received, and told Eva to open them and reply with general responses and reject all requests. Eva said to him that he has no plans anyway, so he said to her that he needs to stay free for any emergencies. He asked her if he found a new artifact. He said to her that he is using the artifact that Tino brought, and its name is Illusion Mirage, and it lets him create illusions he can control, and he made a copy of her face with that artifact, so she yelled at him to stop it immediately. And on the other side, Liz was interrogating a captured hunter, but discovered that they don't even know who sold them. So Satyr said that they are likely just hired hands and suggested using them instead of finishing them off. When they didn't answer, Liz got angry and hit them. After that, Mokray went to apologize to Tino for the danger she was exposed to, but she said that it is her fault and that she thought this experience was a test from him. He offered her an artifact as a gift, so Liz said to let it be something that strengthens her because she is very weak, especially after she ran from a sand rat. Mokray agreed and decided to give her an artifact that increases her strength, and it turned out that this artifact is the mask that Claire wore before. Tino was afraid and said she doesn't want it, but Liz and Satyr held her and put it on her face, and the mask felt her desire for power, so it started to release her inner energy. After that, she grabbed Mokray and said to Liz and Satyr to stay away from him because they are not qualified to be with him. So the two got angry and decided to teach her manners. After that, Garg went to Mokray and said that Earl Gladys has work for him, and said to him that the reward is big, but the risk is high, and Mokray refused at first, but Garg made him think that if he doesn't accept, he will be expelled from the association, so he was forced to agree and said he will take the letter after he prepares. After that, Mokray went out for a walk and didn't want to go on that mission, so he sat thinking who to give it to. Suddenly, he met two men and they said to him that they want to talk to him. So he went with them to drink tea. One of them said to him to withdraw from this case because Ashok was their knight, and Mokray didn't understand anything as usual, but he agreed immediately to withdraw because he is not interested anyway. But Arnold and his group appeared suddenly and said they came for him. So the young man named Baron said to them to leave him alone and introduced himself and Marie, and it turned out they are from the guild, the Cursed Fear. Arnold knew that their leader is the strongest sorcerer in the capital. Mokray said to them he is going to the bath and escaped from the window and used his artifact to make people see him in the form of art. But the result was that his head became illuminated and caused a commotion. He returned to the office, and Eva said to him, "Congratulations, you attracted the attention of the White Cipher Society that the nobles attend." But he was upset and said to her that he doesn't want to go and decided to travel on vacation. He went and told Liz and Satyr, so they were happy and said they are going with, but Satyr reminded him that they still have an investigation about Ashok, so he thought it is the same case that Baron was talking about, and said to her that he already handed it over to the Cursed Fear Guild, so there is no problem. Liz went told everyone that Mokray is going on vacation and asked who wants to come. Everyone escaped, and Mokray said, "Don't pressure any." And when they went to wake up Tino, she was hiding under the blanket and embarrassed from what happened after wearing the mask. But Liz removed the blanket and said to her to get ready because they are traveling with Mok. Satyr brought the three who were the fastest and said they will be assistants. And when they refused, she talked to them and stepped on a button that made the chair electrocute them with electricity, and they immediately said their names: Black, White, Gray. Liz carried Tino forcibly to the car while she was crying and saying she doesn't want to go. Mokray will make us go through 1,000 tests. And Satyr said to the assistants to prepare to move. And at the same time, Arnold and his friends found out that Mokray traveled on vacation and couldn't believe that he escaped from the city. So Arnold decided to chase him himself. Garg also heard the news and thought that Mokray went to complete Earl Gladys's request. But when he saw that Mokray left the letter behind, he understood that something is wrong. So he asked Chloe to prepare herself and bring guards and follow him because she needs the letter to prove her identity. Chloe starts preparing Gilbert and Rhoda, but she feels that traveling in these circumstances is a big risk, especially since they are few in number. And suddenly, she discovers that Arnold is also looking for Mokray. On the same night, Mokray's group felt that the Cursed Fear is close to declaring war between the remnants of Ashok, and he understood that it is a big mess, especially with Mokray not present. Liz was training Tino, and the girl was getting tired and couldn't keep up with. Satyr gave her a potion named Lightning Rod and threatened her to try it on her. Tino ran like crazy to escape, and Mokray said to her to use the mask, but she refused because she was electrocuted before, and lightning struck her again. But this time, she discovered that she can still move, so they continued the training, and Satyr reassured Mokray and said to him that she has many healing potions. After that, Mokray said to everyone that training is forbidden because they are on vacation, and he doesn't want anyone to do anything that makes them stronger, and said to them to avoid violence to enjoy the rest. But they misunderstood him and said, maybe he doesn't want us to become stronger, and he was sitting thinking, they don't even understand what a vacation's. On the other side, Chloe and her team were happy that Arnold's group is with them because they faced many monsters on the road, and she said to him that she knows where Mokray is going, towards the Gladys territories. Arnold got excited and said he is waiting to meet him to face him. Mokray and his friends were in a small town resting there, and Liz found a secret room with a love potion, but Satyr warned her not to touch it. After that, Mokray noticed that Tino's behavior was strange and said to her to calm down because they are on vacation, and suddenly lightning struck the town and the alarm went off. Liz and Satyr said they should go out to see what happened, but Mokray said to them no one should go out. Surely the knights will handle. Arnold reached the town and found it burning, and a soldier told them that the spirit of lightning is attacking and it is stronger than the thunder dragon. Arnold thought that Mokray summoned. Chloe tried to attack it, but her hand was shaking, so he said to her to step back, but the others said no, we are hunters too. So all of them attacked the spirit of light, and the battle was hell. Arnold attacked it with all his strength and rode his horse like a hero. The next day, Mokray and his friends went out and saw the town destroyed. The guard told them that a group of strong hunters are the ones who defeated the spirit of light, and Mokray said, good that they were here. I slept like a log. Arnold at that time was boiling with anger when he found out that Mokray slept comfortably and they were the ones who killed it. So he screamed and said, we must catch him immediately. After that, Liz and Satyr fought over who sits next to Mokray, and Satyr threatened that she will use a potion that attracts monsters. So he took it from her and threw it away and said to them, stop fighting, and said to them they are going to a town named Gula to try a famous cafe with a parfait. They said they don't like sweets, but Tino started to suspect that he is planning a new test. And when they reached Gula, they saw a red world, and the guard told them that there is an orc army in the nearby mountains, and if they attack the town, it will be a disaster. So they decided to call for reinforcements. Satyr started flirting with the guard, and Liz also tried, and the guard got confused. Mokray laughed and said it's clear they are enjoying themselves. But at night, a group of the assistants tried to escape, but the monster Eater of Rage and the golem were watching them. After a while, they flew to the mountains and started killing all the orcs. The orc leader got scared and ran away, and the night turned into hell from fire and smoke. Mokray Mokray at that time was saying to Tino, he is waiting for tomorrow to eat a chocolate parfait, and she was terrified and thought he meant the orc's blood when he went to shower and eat ice cream after that. He offered her to taste it, but she refused to even look at it. And at the same time, Arnold found the potion that attracts monsters and said, who left this here? But before he could think, the orcs attacked all of them, and they were injured too, so they were surprised, and suddenly rain fell from the sky and the spirit of fire appeared. Arnold exploded with anger and said, I will keep fighting monsters until I reach him. The next day, Mokray took Tino to the cafe, and she was still terrified and thought everyone around her are orcs, and said to him she can't continue this experience. But when she heard the girls talking that the orcs were all burned, she understood that he was sincere and apologized to the people, removed the red world, and celebrated the hero Arnold for killing the orcs and the spirit of fire. Arnold was saying to himself, I want to reach Mokray, not make a slaughter every day. Mokray saw the celebration and said, it seems they are welcoming the false, and Rizz called on Arnold and thanked him in front of the people. So Arnold's anger flared up more, and he tried to chase them, but the women gathered around him and knocked him to the ground. Mokray and his friends ran away and said, surely Arnold won't give up. We must change the route. They decided to go over the mountains, and Rizz was excited, saying the real vacation has begun. But Tino was terrified because she knows the mountains are full of monsters. On their way, Satyr told him about the mountain giants, that very few who see them return alive. Rizz said she wants to fight some, and Mokray said to her calmly, not too much violence. And when Tino went out to escape from the mask, they killed the monsters and were victorious. And in the end, they decided to camp under the sky, and Satyr said to him, it's been a long time since I camped with Mokray, and everyone feels that the adventure is just beginning. Mokray went out to get water, and Rizz decided to go with him, and this made Satyr boil with jealousy. Mokray reached a calm and beautiful lake and started filling the water, and suddenly Rizz appeared a monster out of nowhere and said to him, hi. So he smiled and wiped her hair with his hand, and she was very happy, and said to him that she is happy she came with, and promised him that she will help Tino become stronger. The moment was very romantic, but suddenly they heard an explosion sound, and Rizz got annoyed and said, there is always something that ruins the mood. The scene changed after that, and we saw the golem fighting a huge monster, and Tino tried to warn him from behind, but the monster disappeared suddenly and appeared behind her to hit her, but Rizz caught up with the situation and knocked the attack away. Satyr at that time recognized and said, this is a missing mountain devil, and clarified that it was disguised on the road to trick, and this monster has been chasing them since they entered its area. And the monster held a huge rock and threw it at Mokray, but Rizz caught it with her hand and threw it back at him with incredible force. So the rock shattered and destroyed the mountain, but the monster was still alive. Satyr said that this monster is resistant to physical attacks and is very stubborn and won't leave. Mokray said, we have no need to fight, let's run away. Better. So they decided to escape before the monster recovers again. At that time, Arnold reached a crossroads and saw a drawing on a rock and thought Rizz was mocking. Chloe said that the right path is safe, but Arnold decided to take the left anyway because he is sure Mokray is there. Rizz noticed that the monster is still following, and Satyr said that the mountain devils love to see their prey suffer and thought of using someone as bait, but said she won't sacrifice the assistants because she needs them. So she thought of using the potion that attracts monsters, so the monster gets busy with them and they escape, but she said they must be ready if the monsters attack them instead of the devil. Mokray said, we will be fine, don't worry, but Tino was terrified and convinced they will die this time. Things didn't go as planned, and they were forced to fight the monsters that gathered on them. And after that, they set up a tent to spend the night. Satyr said that she doesn't feel the presence of the devil but Tino was terrified of the darkness and shadows. Mokray said to her, take this mask, you might need it later. But suddenly, they heard the assistants scream, and the Eater of Rage appeared. Mokray thought and said, these have had enough training. Black was getting water for the monster and was complaining about her work, but saw Mokray talking with Satyr, and she was holding a strange key. Arnold at that time saw Mokray's camp and thought it was a trap, but said he must make sure himself. The devil saw him and said to himself, this is a strong fighter, maybe he can defeat Rizz, and decided to run towards Mokray. Arnold saw the monster's shadow and thought it was Rizz, so he started running after him. Mokray and his friends saw Arnold's group approaching, but didn't care, and suddenly the monster appeared, trying to take the shape of Arnold. But Mokray was suspicious and said there is something strange about, and started asking him questions to make sure. The monster got annoyed, threatened to kill him, so Mokray said he must be the real Arnold, and started apologizing to him for what he did to him before. And suddenly, the real Arnold arrived, and Mokray thought he was the fake, so he attacked him. Arnold attacked with anger, but Mokray's shield protected him and reflected the attack. Arnold was shocked and said, how can he block a strike like this? The devil tried to escape, but Rizz and Satyr stopped him, so he was forced to reveal his true form. Mokray was surprised and said, so there really was an imposter? Arnold got angry and said, are you actually making fun of me? And raised his sword, full of electricity, ready to attack. Mokray saw Tino behind him, so he quickly hugged her to protect her, and the shield activated again. Arnold was shocked that the attacks weren't affecting him and asked why he isn't fighting back. Mokray said to him, because I have faith. Arnold looked at him and said, what does that nonsense mean? And it turned out that Mokray was just trying to be cool, but the shield started to weaken, and Arnold was about to finish him off, but Tino jumped and hit his leg and said, I will protect inspect my mask? Arnold said, you won't recognize me. But Tino wore the mask, and the mask tried to control her, but she resisted, and her body transformed and became very strong, to the extent that she pushed Arnold away. Mokray was amazed and said, did she become a superhero or what? And then the scene changed, and Tino remembered that Mokray said to her not to move, your body can't handle Relic's power, and said to her that she managed to face Arnold a bit, but still lost because he is stronger. She asked about the devil, and Liz said that they did defeat him, but he kept getting up every time, so they left him, and Arnold and his group are the ones who finished him off. Tino was sad because she lost, but Mokray reassured her and said, don't worry, even Liz lost hundreds of times before becoming a professional hunter, and said to her that she will improve, and she decided that she will indeed put in the effort to officially join the Morning Souls team. And in the final scene, we see that the devil was finally defeated. Chloe is thinking about what happened and saying, everyone improves after all these battles, and that Arnold's team's fame increased because of the cave they saved, and said all of this is thanks to Mokray because his tests made them stronger. Arnold said, we won't continue chasing him after we fix the car, and Chloe said he must be going to Shattered Night, so they decided to go there, even though the place is terrifying. But she was sure that Mokray went there because it was his old team's dream. But the big surprise is that Mokray and his friends actually went to sleep in a hot spring, and that was the end of our story today. Don't forget to like and share, and the comment on the video, because that's what encourages us to continue. And if you are new to our channel, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get all the new videos. See you later. Goodbye.